Hey guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Dyslexic Reader. Welcome to the first, possibly last, episode of Novelty Chats. I sort of wanted to do more of a series on my channel. I think I'm going to make it fortnightly, so every 2 weeks with a specific day. I'm thinking Sundays in mind, where I just it's more relaxed and I just sort of ramble about books. I don't have a specific sort of topic that I'm talking about, and I just update you on my current reads and whatever else. I have no idea how long this is going to be or what it's going to consist of, so I would suggest grabbing a beverage and maybe some snacks. I've got my tea here. The mug of the day is a Doctor Who square mug. I am a big Doctor Who fan, but like the original reboot, so like the current reboot, but only like seasons 1 through 7. I think the last couple of years have gone extremely downhill and we do not have to talk about it, but I'm a major reboot classic sort of gal, especially the sort of Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant years, and I got this mug probably 10 plus years ago in an Easter egg from a friend, and I am a sucker for a square mug. I love a square mug. This is just my preference. So get whatever your preference is, whether it be tea, coffee, soda, gin, and buckle in. I want to start off with talking about my current read, but before that, where I got my current read from. NetGalley. Do y'all know about NetGalley? I didn't. Nobody told me that it existed. If you are a book reviewer or reader or an educator or sort of share opinions about books on any platform, I would suggest signing up to NetGalley. It is a platform where publishers put out samples, or in a lot of cases full novels before release for review. Now, you can't buy them, you don't get a physical copy, so you just get it on your Kindle or iPad or as a PDF, or there's a couple of different formats. I'm not going to go into all the hotspot. Some of them you have to request, so you look at it and think, yeah, I'm interested in that. You send it to the publisher, they can look at your profile or your channel or whatever you link up there, and they can decide whether they think you'd be right or not, and they can decline or whatever. But there's a whole chunk that you don't need to request, they're just there and you can just download them. Now, they do encourage you obviously to give feedback in response to getting these, which I think is totally fair. And I got 4 books because I didn't want to like overdo myself, and I'm not a big ebook reader. But yeah, I had to tuck into one straight away, and I'm actually kind of loving it. The book that I picked up is The Censor's Hand. I'm reading it on my iPad, although I do have a Kindle. It's like so old you can't send stuff to it unless you purchase it through Amazon. But I think if you've got like a more up-to-date, like mine's the very, very first generation of Kindle. If you've got a newer one, then you'll be able to get it to your Kindle, tablet, phone, PC, whatever you want. But I'm doing it on my iPad. I'm not too far into this at the minute. As I said, I only started it this morning. But it is an adult high fantasy sort of novel. It's centered, the title's tripping me up here. It's centered in a world where magic is seen as a commodity that is controlled by a league of people and is sort of bought and sold. It's seen as like an item rather than people can use it and people can't. Some people control it and they'll do like magical favors for people who pay. Follows our main character who is training to be a censor, which is sort of the police, I guess, in this world. And there's also a strong storyline with his older brother and wife and baby and sort of how their family's getting along. It's at the minute quite political, which I'm actually really enjoying. The world is very immersive, which I liked. It took me the first couple of chapters to get into, but I'm getting into it now, and I'm starting to think this is an intriguing concept, and this book might be quite popular. As to the hand reference, There was a bit in the prologue about some sort of magical glovey thing, but we're not really sure what that is yet. But yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I'm definitely going to keep on reading, and I'm definitely going to be using NetGalley a lot in the future. For my sort of discussion portion today, I have not planned this out, but I think I'm going to talk about the sort of sameness of BookTube at the minute, because it's something I've been thinking about the past 2 days. I have noticed the same books and videos popping up again and again the last couple of days. Every time I go on YouTube, it's like the exact same video talking about the exact same books. It's just a different person saying it. And I don't know, has YouTube had a major change of its algorithm? So if you watch like one of those videos, like they all come up in your recommended and nothing else. But I am finding it very hard to find original content on BookTube the last couple of weeks. I enjoy searching newbie tags and recent videos and sort of finding who's out there and what new they're bringing, or finding new people and going into their old videos. And I'm finding it hard to find anyone that's doing anything special. I'm not saying that I am doing amazing work here on my platform. My last video was a haul, and I am not ashamed. But in my hauls, I do cheap battered books, and I do library books, and I do try to do a couple of different discussions. I don't know, I think creativity has gone out of BookTube a little bit, and I don't think that the creativity isn't there for new stuff, because new stuff is appearing, but there seems to be a problem of everyone doing the same thing. And I understand, you see it, you think it's cool, it's getting views, you know you'll get views, but I think we're in danger of washing BookTube out. I used to be able to sit and watch BookTube video after BookTube video, and I never saw very few repeated titles, very few repeated sort of concepts, and I feel like I can't get that anymore. I feel like I go on and I'm like, I've seen all these videos already, just a different person doing them. And I'm finding it a downer, and I'm finding it isolating as someone who doesn't do, not that they would like put me off, but at the same time it feels sort of like, if you don't do these videos, well, why aren't you doing these videos? And I also feel like it makes me not want to put effort into newer content, because I know that it's not going to get, this is maybe cynical, the booktuber approval, like other people aren't going to copy me, it's not going to become a thing, and I don't know, I think it's all become very samey, and I think I know what maybe one of the parts of this problem is. Subscription boxes. I said it. I think subscription boxes are sort of killing the creativity of BookTube. I feel like, yes, we have our sort of monthly videos that everybody does, wrap-ups and TBRs and hauls and all, which is if that's your gig, have at it. I have nobody to say anything business. It's not my gig. And okay, I can understand where they're coming from. Ariel Bissett does a good video on why book hauls are important. They bring people together and they're easy to watch, and they introduce people into the community. And I think that's great. And yeah, I agree that I don't do TBRs, but I think TBRs are enjoyable and insightful to watch. And I do my wrap-ups, and I like to see, after someone's talked about a book, how they actually felt about it after they read it. No one is ever going to do a review on every book that they read. If you do, please tell me down below, because I will check your channel out if I don't already. But I certainly couldn't keep up with the books that I read doing a full review for everyone. So I think that it is a good way to get across mini reviews, especially if you've talked and plugged a book and then you read it and you don't say how you found it. So I think all these things are important, but I think what we don't need is, at the minute I feel like we have 7 sort of monthly videos that everyone does, and it normally includes at least 1 or 2 of subscription box unboxing videos. And I feel like 7 videos a month is really enough for anybody. Very few, I know that I don't know very many people who do much more than that. So I feel like if you've got your 7 box checks done, then you haven't really time to invest in anything else. A lot of the subscription boxes are exactly the same. They're pulling out the exact same books and merchandise, so they're all hauling the same books, they're all reading and reviewing the same books, and I don't know, I find it draining. I'm not someone who subscribes normally to popular sort of new releases, and that's not out of anything against that. I don't buy new books, I buy second-hand books and I go to the library, so wouldn't be impossible for me to do so anyway, so I don't get into it, and I feel like everyone's just reading the newest popular release, and I want to read a book, and I'm like looking it up, and I can't find reviews for it anywhere, but there's like 1,000,007 reviews on ACOTAR or something, and I don't think it's refreshing, and I think in the long term we could damage BookTube from it. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. I'm sure it'll be split, whatever, that's what I think. I think we're becoming a bit unoriginal, and I think that we need to maybe buck up our ideas a little bit. I'm not perfect, I'm not saying that I do all of this, but I think it's something that I'm trying to work on now, setting forward, and I think that is something the community needs to think about in general, and whether we're supporting this. And I just wanted to put forward the idea of subscription boxes maybe being another monthly video that's inhibiting creativity in the BookTube community, and whether you'll agree with me or not. Some books that I am not really currently reading but wanted to talk about was the Sally Lockhart series by Philip Pullman. These are my first Philip Pullman books that I have ever read, believe it or not. None of his sort of plot lines interested me, so I never really picked up any of his book. I have picked up the Sally Lockhart series. I read this first one during Booktubeathon, and I have recently finished the second one. It'll be in my mid-month August wrap-up, which should be already up. I'll try to remember to link it down below. You can go and check that out. Philip Pullman's writing is incredible. I've only read 2 of his books, so I know I can't really brag, and they're both in the same series, but he is climbing up the ladder to favourite author position very, very quickly. I think his storytelling is incredible. It even says on the front of this edition, Philip Pullman, is he the best storyteller ever, by The Observer, and I think The Observer could be right. His writing is incredible, so I'd be interested if you guys have read any Philip Pullman. Do you agree? Does anyone else love his writing style as much as I do? And if you have any suggestion for me, I've only read the first and second in the Sally Lockhart Mysteries series, so if you have any more Philip Pullman books that you think I would like, please leave them down below. My library does stock a lot of his work, so I'm sure I can get my hands on them, and I would really, really appreciate some recommendations. The next thing I've been thinking about a lot recently is the Lord of the Rings series. I guess they're just a trilogy. I suspect I don't need The Hobbit. I love my editions of these books. They were my dad's before mine, and I think they're stunning. They're from the 80s, and they're all like landscape. They're like beaten and faded as get out, but I really don't care. But I have a bit of a mixed sort of history with J.R.R. Tolkien's works. The Hobbit. I absolutely love The Hobbit. I've read this book at least about 6 or 7 times. I think that's partly because as a child I owned this. This is the sort of graphic novel version of The Hobbit, which is also beautiful, and it's quite word dense for a graphic novel, especially for one as a kid. The art style is crazy cool, and my dad is also dyslexic, so is not a strong reader like myself, and as a child he read me this a lot because it's mostly dialogue, and it was easier for him to get through to read to me, and we used to like to look at the pictures together and stuff, so this holds a dear memory in my heart and has really sort of installed the love of Hobbit in my memories and in my childhood, and then when I got old enough and able enough to read The Hobbit by myself, I read it and I loved it, and I thought it was so good, and I loved the expansion that it gave me on this. Not a fan of the Hobbit movies, but that's a different matter altogether. But yeah, I love The Hobbit. I love it. The Lord of the Rings is a different matter. I have picked up The Fellowship of the Ring nearly as many times as I read The Hobbit, so at least a good 5. And I don't think I've ever got past like the 100-page mark. Part of it, I think, is that this is a chunker at nearly 600 pages. I like a short book, if I can help it. I don't know what it is about this, but lately I feel really, really enthused to pick it up again, but every time I see it, I'm like, you've tried it, you don't like it, there's other things that you might like. Kim over at Kim here reread this. She loves them and has sort of instilled in me, I love The Hobbit so much, why can't I get into these? I have no idea. Does anyone else have this problem? Please let me down below. Did anyone else love The Hobbit and couldn't get into The Lord of the Rings, or vice versa? I guess, is it a thing where the cat is taking a freak out? Is it a thing where if you love one, you dislike the other and vice versa? Or should I give this another go? I am like really torn. And it's such a big series to like invest in. Like all 3 books. It's massive. And it's dense. But there's a lot of world building and I like it. And I do like the Lord of the Rings movies despite not liking the Hobbit movies. And I know the characters and the storyline. And I really don't know. Should I give these a go? Comment that down below as well. Other series that I really want to read but for some reason have not picked up yet. This is the Chronicles of Prydain series by Lord Alexander. If you might have realised that I am a complete Disney nut. And one of my favourite Disney movies is The Black Cauldron, which is actually the second book in this series. The Book of 3 is the first. And I had no idea that this was a book series until recently. And when I found out that it was a book series, I had to get my hands on all 5 immediately. And I was so excited. And they're so beautiful. Each book is a different sort of foil colour. So there's a gold one and a silver one and a purple one, and they're all foiled and beautiful. And I love the characters in the movie. And I love the premise of the movie, and I've heard it's quite close. And I cannot pick this first one up, and I don't know what's stopping me. I think the fact that I think I'm going to like it so much, and what if I don't? What if I don't like it? And I want to like it so much, I think that has put me off. Does anyone get that? That you want to like a book so much you're afraid to read it because what if you don't like it as much as you thought you should like it? If that's a thing for me, or if you do the same, tell me, because I really want to get into this series. Also, if you've read this series, let me know. I could do with some motivation on whether these are worth it or not. Y'all might have noticed that recently I've jumped on the BookTube bandwagon, and I now have books behind me. Aren't they so aesthetically pleasing? This is because my book buying has exploded for some reason. I don't know. I only ever buy secondhand books. I don't think that I've ever purchased a full price book for myself. And certainly not a new one. I use the library a lot, and I love car boot sales and charity shops for books. But for some reason, recently, every time I go, I see a million that I want. Oh, itchy nose. I see a million that I want, and well, most of them are 50p, I can't stop it. So I've actually completely filled up my bookshelves. Go me. So my Zoom Zooms have now been moved, and my books are residing here, because the books can't go on the shelves because they're too heavy, but the Zoom Zooms can go on the shelf. So hence why you might have realised that I'm now an official booktuber, because I have my books behind me. Also, current sort of reading status update. I have been reading a lot of books this summer that are not my genre, and I don't know whether to be scared or proud. I normally do not read YA. I normally don't read contemporary. I normally don't read romance. I normally read a lot of mysteries, and I haven't read any mysteries. I don't know. I'm not sure if my book tastes are changing, which I'm kind of scared about, because a lot of the books here that I haven't read are to my old tastes because I bought them. Or am I in a summer reading mood and I'm trying out things new and I'm kind of enjoying them and kind of liking it? And then I'm like, what about all these mystery books that I own? Will I ever get around to them? So that's a worrying sort of state that I'm in at the minute. So if you read differently in the summer, let me know, because I'm hoping that that's what it is. And I'm hoping that I haven't lost my knack for mysteries. And I am hoping when autumn comes around that the mysteries will flow back in again. That's what I'm hoping for. I can't think of much else that I want to talk about in this debut episode of Novelty Chats. I have no idea if I'm ever going to do this again. But if you like the concept, please let me know with a thumbs up or a comment. And if you have little things that you would like me to discuss, I'm sort of discussing things that I can't make a video about because they're like 40-second things, but at the same time I want to convey them to you guys and let you know what the sort of situation is. So if you have anything like that that you don't think's maybe discussion video worthy, or do, I don't care, I'll make a discussion video about it, let me know for ideas for the next one, which will probably be in the fortnight's time, so at the end of the month. I'm hoping to get these up on Sundays so I can film them any day throughout the week that suits me and just have them upload on a Sundays, because I want to try and get regular again with content. I don't know. So it's an experiment and we shall see where it goes. Thank you for watching the very first episode. Hopefully the next one will turn out a bit more professional once I get into the swing of what I'm doing here. And yeah, I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all healthy. And I will see you in my next video, hopefully. Goodbye.